Report.
The Garden Report.
What's up, man?
Brought to you by so many different people. I don't even know. So many different sponsors are attached to this.
So many sponsors who are all going to end the sponsorship if this is the freaking product that we're going to be talking about. This Celtics
I don't
product.
even want to.
I feel bad for the sponsors tonight.
Yeah, peddling AG1, a winning product after a losing performance. Yeah. It is what it is. But
tough. It's tough.
You know,
AG1 wouldn't stand for a performance.
That's what we got. HelloFresh. Yeah, you should go get some meals still. Absolutely.
Hello Stale. His team.
There's definitely reasons to get out there, but you know, a whole bunch of ugliness. Rocket money, yeah. Save money. Go get all of that stuff.
Save money by getting rid of this roster.
But yeah, we got some problems. Look, everybody knows. Everyone's out, right? So they're without Smart.
Yeah.
They're without Brogdon. They're without Rob. We get it. Obviously, that's hard. It's still a game that if you play well or you're kind of competitive, you've got a chance. You should still win. Your players are still better than their players. Fine. You get one of these a year, Jimmy.
Magic's got them, man.
You got one of these a year. You don't get three.
You don't get three.
You don't get three of these. Okay, you just don't.
Yeah, what's up with the Magic? Thank God we're not going to see them in the playoffs.
Jimmy, you're a little tall right now.
Dude, no one's ever said that to me
You're getting
before.
a little
Appreciate
choppy
that.
at the top there.
Let me fix that for you. That's the first time anyone's ever called me tall. Actually, I felt good.
Yeah, you're a little tall right now. Yeah, a sleepwalking performance, and again, you're allowed these. But when you already had a couple, and there's a month ago, it's pretty embarrassing.
Speaking of embarrassing,
having another sucks, and they did it. So, what are you gonna do? Beat on them for an hour? Maybe.
Josue, you good? You picking your nose over there off camera or what? We good?
He might be good.
He might be good.
Should
we let him in?
Let's give him a shot. Let's give the guy a shot.
Straight out of Brockton.
John, that's exactly what you want to do is beat up on this team for an hour. What are you
I
talking
don't.
about?
I actually hate doing it after.
What do you mean?
Yeah, dude, you're not fooling anybody.
I hate doing it after these types of games. It's just like, it's just such a gross game. It really is. But
yeah, but it's for you, it's low key better than a blowout win. No,
blowout. Yeah, I mean blowouts are boring.
Because you wouldn't. Yeah, I mean,
blowouts are boring. Well, this was a blowout.
What did we learn? For me, it's always what did you learn? What did we learn? Ooh. Nothing. That's always kind of look at. What did we learn? What from this?
I say that a lot.
What from this
Nothing.
moves us forward in any direction? None of it. They still have this kind of loser slack gene, but you're not facing the Magic in the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter. I guess one thing, if you're going to kind of harp on stuff, yeah, you hate seeing the turnover beast rear its head again when they get up into that 18 turnover plateau, but you're also missing two of your primary ball handlers, and then White goes out with a little crick in his neck, which means more Jalen and Jason, which means more friggin', whatever. It's just you're not going to get the ball movement when you don't have the guards and you don't have, that stuff going on. The one thing that sticks to me is they letting the refs get in your head. A lot of people be like, the refs tonight, man, were brutal. And yeah, if you look at the fouls and the free throws, yeah, I mean, Celtics are supposed to be getting more calls than the Magic. It's just how it goes.
No, it should be.
Right.
It should just
that
be
excuse
fair.
It should be fair. I agree, Jimmy. What I'm saying is you're not accustomed to getting jobbed, to letting them get all the 50-50s and you getting none. That's what's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. But don't let it get to you. Grant should have gotten 3 Ts tonight and Tatum should have gotten 2. They just couldn't stop with that stuff. They still let that shit affect them like crazy. The sulking, pouting. That's the worst version. I hate seeing that. You get nights where your shots don't drop, fine. But you see that just those ones are brutal to watch.
Did we get an explanation on what happened to Tatum? Why did he leave the game? That was the game. They couldn't withstand that time that he missed.
Yeah, but no, Jimmy, they still had time to make a comeback.
No, I know they had time to come back.
That was poor execution by the Celtics, man.
Yeah, they were up, weren't they? And then they were down double digits by the time he got back into the game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Orlando went on that. I want to say it was like a
20-5.
run.
No, it was like 20-5 or
20
something
to
crazy.
5. Well, that was the big one, right? Yeah, Tatum was out right towards the end of that, but either way, though, it was what, a 9-point game when he came back in, and the poor execution. You go, then I go between him and Jaylen Brown. That wasn't doing them any favors. I mean, Al Horford hit a big three. Derek White got in the middle, got the 3-point play, but like they needed more of that. They needed more of moving the ball around and looking for the better shot instead of like these guys taking turns again. I mean, Jaylen was what? He was scoreless in the fourth, right? Like he was. I mean, why was that the game plan?
Easy,
I know. I thought
Josue. Easy.
when Tatum was gonna take the three, and then he just swung it to Hauser because he's just like, look, that's the only guy on this court I trust, and since I have two guys on me and there's 2 seconds left on the shot clock, Hauser, save us. And he made that three. I thought that was a big shot.
That was a big shot.
But
Hauser had a couple shots.
The Tatum skip pass.
They couldn't build off of those. Yeah, the Tatum when he knew he didn't have a good shot there. Instead of chucking it up, he threw it to the one guy he trusted. It seemed like, and that was Hauser. And Hauser nailed it. Like that was big. But Hauser was one of the few guys that shot the ball well in this one, outside of Tatum and outside of the Tatum and Brown sort of taking turns there. But neither one of them really shot.
You want to look for something eye popping? I mean, this has been a story all year. You know, Tatum's. The plus minus on us. Yeah, the Tatum on the court, off the court numbers are pretty staggering. It's plus 300 something with him on, minus with him off. But you're always going to run into in games like this when you're shorthanded, you really have to stagger. And Tatum and Brown still play 37 minutes each, and would have been more if they didn't clear the bench the last 2 minutes there. But there's those minutes where it's Tatum in the bench and Jaylen in the bench. And the Jaylen numbers were terrible. And that's kind of been the case. I keep saying the same stuff over and over again. It's the Jaylen show when he's out there and he's either going off or the whole frigging thing tanks. When he's on the floor, if the shot isn't falling or he's turning it over. And this was kind of one of those mixed bag nights where he was scoring a little, but then when he's not, the whole thing just friggin' completely craters. And the numbers with him on the court were just brutal tonight. Did I lose you?
No, I think it was Jimmy. You still there?
I'm watching Jimmy struggle.
But can you hear him? I can't hear Jimmy. Can you hear him?
Jimmy's gone.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy's good. Don't swear. I heard that. All right, let's not worry about Jimmy anymore. Josue, you can just talk, and then Jimmy will work himself out.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you go. He'll let Jimmy do Jimmy.
Yeah. No. Look. I mean, I just think the Celtics offense. I mean, it's getting to the point where if like you said, if guys like if Brogdon's not there or Smart's not there to control the offense, I mean, teams like the Magic obviously have more confidence than most because they beat these guys before. But I just felt like they knew that these guys would tremble. If they added that extra pressure, especially in transition, the fast break points. I just feel like the Orlando Magic again, they had the confidence, but the Celtics, man, they have to be more demonstrative in their approach, especially on offense and sticking to what Joe Mazzulla has been preaching. And I know it's not easy when guys aren't hitting shots, and pretty much Derek White was he got off to a good start. Hauser got off to a good start, but there was Al Horford hit some shots, but Tatum and Brown, I mean, look, they did the first 3 quarters. I thought they did their best with what was going on. Obviously, Tatum was banged up and all that, but I just thought that in that second half of the fourth quarter, they try to just bully the Magic, and that's just not going to work. That's not going to work against this team. The Magic had plenty of momentum in that fourth.
It was just bad. Hold on one second. I'm communicating with Bobby in the field. Bobby Manning is in Orlando. He will be joining us in a little bit. Professor Sherrod Blakely not available tonight, but he'll be back with us for the Miami game tomorrow. I don't know. They just got beat. I mean, you can point to starters rotation players being out. Just simply look at what happened in the fourth quarter there. The Magic put them away. I mean, they put them away. That was with your starters on the floor. They put them down. I mean, Derek White didn't have a great game himself. Jaylen Brown scored points, but again, the turnovers, the plus minus numbers are obviously not great. Al didn't make a huge impact out there. Again, the Blake experiment there, I'm not sure what you're going to get. You got very little out of Grant.
Yeah, he tried it, though. I'm glad he tried it. I mean, I know I've been saying that for a couple of days, but yeah.
I know why they do Blake, and it makes sense. If you can sneak a 6, 7, 8 Blake minutes to start, and that lessens how much more you have to play him later, and it allows you to stick with the guys you want to keep in the game for longer. If you start Grant and Horford, you're just screwed because you're going to end up with a lot of Cornette and Blake minutes combined, like together in second units, and that's just not going to play. So you almost have to hide Blake in there, and that's fine. And you did get a Hauser game out of nowhere that was like decent. So this was early season Hauser. He was hitting threes. He was fine. He held his own. But
but John, why do we see Cabangeli tonight? Like, I think that was
because I didn't think they didn't want to go back to Blake. I think they broke.
Well,
that
yeah,
glass.
I think that's definitely part of it. But the second part, I feel like, is because they were just. I mean, they're looking for second chance opportunities. They're looking for extra possessions because that's how dry the offense was, and I feel like that was Missoula's sort of last resort. In the first 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, he got you one second chance opportunity, and he picked up a couple fouls. But I mean, that was the best he could. Missoula was really reaching at that point, and I don't blame him. I mean, he was looking for extra possessions for these guys for the offense.
I missed some of that convo, but I know you were talking about Blake for a minute there, or what? Just trying to fill the void with Robert.
There wasn't much there for the Celtics, pretty much.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. I mean, we saw our guy Kevin tonight, which was first time since November, I think. That's kind of like that's tough for Blake to see that happen. I think
you kind of got to be a diehard to know that joke, right? Maybe not a diehard, but we don't always make that joke. Right?
You have to have watched that one episode. Where
Kevin Jelly
a few times. Yeah,
we brought it up a couple of times.
It's come back.
I mean, listen, Kevin. It
was my. He put it this way. It was my only tweet of the night.
Yeah, and I think I commented on it.
It was the only one.
Or liked it.
I didn't sit there and like. It's boring. That's just said at the beginning of the game. It's boring to just say this sucked, this sucked. Everyone's got eyes. They know what sucked tonight. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you're just hammering. Everybody saw it. You just lost to the friggin' Magic, man. You know.
Well, it was just disappointing that
you lost to the Magic by 15 points. Yeah.
My first tweet was seeing angry Luke out there, Luke Cornette. I liked it.
Oh,
I mean,
the foul. The block that they call the foul.
I honestly feel like his reaction triggered 2 fouls his way down the stretch, or a couple possessions later, and so they just couldn't capitalize on it. I mean, like, look, this is against a team like the Orlando Magic. Like they gave you a couple of chances there to come back, and they just would like, no, we're good. We're gonna just make it harder on ourselves. And all of a sudden, it was the 2-minute mark, and they were still down by double digits, and then came the Jaylen Brown and the Tatum chucking shots because at that point, like, what else are you gonna do? And yeah, it happened quickly, but the Celtics, I mean, look, that offense, when it's stagnant like that, without Brogdon, without Smart, I mean, it gets really bad. Like, it gets really, guys can't hit their shots.
But
in
there's
the first
no
what, though? Find me a team
that's guy with the ball. Ugh.
Yeah, but I mean, find me a team that can withstand that. I mean, 2 of your, ball handlers are out of the game. And
Horford's out there doing everything.
The Warriors just beat the Cavs without Curry. And Poole, and I mean, you can beat this Magic team.
It happens.
Yeah.
No, I know you can beat them. I'm just saying it's not going to be. I'm not surprised to see
it's
them
ugly.
struggle.
You're right.
Yeah, it's ugly. I'm not surprised to see it struggle. I mean, for whatever reason, the Magic play this Celtics team well, even with guys in the lineup. So,
but isn't it pathetic to be so freaking woe is me against a team like the Magic? Like.
Yeah.
Just man up and just win the game and stop friggin' crying. Like, oh, the Magic, the fucking touched me. Like, it's just, come on. And 2 boneheaded plays, too. One, Jaylen, the ball went off of him, and he knew it, and he started to react to it, and the refs called it the other way, and he didn't sell it, and they reversed that call. And then not inbounding the ball to Horford and taking forever on that challenge. Just get the ball in, they just say, come on, man,
Seriously.
But yeah, it sucked. Like, and it's funny, like, I don't know.
It's almost funny. It's almost like a too cool for school type of approach, right? It's like, you're not gonna give me these calls, and it's like things are going our way. Like, that's what It's what champions do, right? I mean, they're not there yet. I mean, not that would excuse that type of behavior, but I just feel like when they're acting like that, it's like they're like, hey, like we're supposed to get these calls. Like, no, you got to go out there and earn it. You got to go out there. Look, you're down by double digits. Like, let's just, like someone's got to be the one to say, let's just all focus, guys. But it's tough, without Marcus, without Brogdon. I mean, those are two big voices out there, but still, I mean, the lack of execution is what really bothered me, especially in that fourth quarter.
I almost feel like I just don't have credibility on this anymore. So it's like I can't even say it, but it just feels like
you don't.
I mean, a lot of people are saying it in the chat. Just everything stagnates when it's just Jalen out there. Like there's just even more so. As you said, Tatum comes in, he comes back in, skip past Hauser. Like you see some movement. There's more going on. Just that. The Brown tunnel vision, you live with it and you die with it sometimes. But again, when you don't have a lot of other options out there and other people that can have the ball, you do have nights like this where the box score is going to be like, what? Without him, what do they do there? Of course, yeah, you eliminate Jalen, it's even harder to win. But you just want a little bit more on these types of nights, because you need it. You need to carry it. You need to play a cleaner game. You need to play a better game. You need to play a more focused game. You got to recognize that you got to really work hard to involve your teammates in a game like this. Because you just don't have the other guys out there who can bail you out and do stuff. Just so much of it was so friggin' ugly tonight. It's just, just a nasty taste in your mouth losing another one to these guys.
Yeah, I think they needed more from Pritchard tonight. I mean, after the game
Pritchard,
he had.
nothing. Yeah.
Nothing from Pritchard, nothing from Grant. I mean, those are your guys that you're relying on.
That's what kills me too. Like I didn't watch enough of the last game. I went back and I rewatched it and I saw Grant's first half. And then he completely disappeared in the second half. But yeah, he got a lot, and that was like I said, the 1 in 10 game when everyone wants to give Grant $20 million. But this is the exact type of team that Grant Williams is useless against because they're so tall. Yeah. So it's just he just can't live within the trees there. He made one shot. And that was, they blitz him at the 3-point line because that's what teams are going to do with Grant. And he had one little pump fake and came in and hit a little jumper, little 14-footer on the baseline. And that's it. That's the whole of your contribution. The rest of him was just getting swallowed up or afraid to really do anything or go up with anything because he was dealing with the trees. He turned it over a couple of times. Just a useless Grant game on a night where you need him. You're without Rob and you're starting Blake Griffin. Grant only gives you 24 minutes. 5 fouls, almost zero contribution out there. Just a brutal night for him.
Yeah, he's such a big piece when there's a big missing, right? Especially if it's Rob or whether Al and that performance he had was so encouraging. It's funny because on the last time I spoke to Cedric Maxwell was right after heading into this game, and I'm just like, are we believing this though? Like this career high out of Grant? Like I'm not saying he's got to go out there and drop 20 plus again, but they need him to do something like that, something similar to what he was doing, throughout maybe the first couple of months of the season. Look, and I get it. You look at his career numbers. Grant's numbers are technically up if you compare him to last year, but there's just these droughts where I don't know. Maybe it was during the 500 Celtics point of last season, but I just feel like he was much more consistent on offense.
You just nailed it. Yeah, the word was consistent.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you need it, though. Look, you look at his points per game and all that. That's up compared to last year, but that consistency when this team really needs it. I mean, sometimes he's just not there, and this is one of those nights.
If you want to be paid that type of money, you have to be able to. You can't just be a game plan player. You can't just be effective depending on who the opponent is. You have to be effective regardless, right? You have to be able to do what you do well, regardless of who the opponent is. This is a night where when the Celtics are down 3 key guys. This is a huge game for Grant. This is the type of game where you expect him to come out and be effective. And if they did get some bench production tonight, maybe they win this game, especially during the stretch where Tatum goes out. You can put the onus on Jaylen Brown all you want, but if there were guys that were capable of taking some of the burden off his shoulders when it's just him out there, then maybe he doesn't have to force it as much. Maybe he doesn't have to look shot first, or maybe he's not conditioned to just be tunnel vision Jaylen Brown. If there's a shooter out there with him, or if there's a guy that he can depend on. Hell, if I'm looking around out there, I might just say, F it, I'm going to try to do it all on my own too. I mean, obviously Al Horford's somebody that they should be able to depend on. And Hauser had a couple big shots tonight too, but for whatever reason, Missoula went away from him at one point. But Grant,
It's not a
Pritchard,
good enough bench. It's not a good enough bench, Jimmy, for that reason. They don't show up consistently enough. That's
right?
the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get
like
occasional
Brogdon, you can
games.
count
Right.
on. Brogdon, you can count
Exactly.
on game in, game out. After that, we're talking about matchups, and we're talking about guys who are hot at that point in time. It's not like, oh, they're 9 deep consistent, or 8 deep with guys that you can depend on night in, night out. And I know, like, this is obviously an example of that, and there are games where we talk about how they do have depth, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to sort of, bring that a little bit more often. Now, if it's a full lineup, then White's coming off the bench, so that's a guy that you can depend on a little bit more. And White with Brogdon are two guards that you can interchange in there, and you're not seeing maybe you're not seeing Pritchard obviously as much, or if Rob's playing, obviously that's going to cut down on some of Grant's minutes. So you have to be healthy at the end of the day. No team, I don't think, can survive if 3 of their top 6 guys are out. So
Not for long, but you're
not for
still got
long,
enough
but
talent.
you can still beat an Orlando Magic team. You should still be able to beat.
Still beat an Orlando Magic. And Josue, the Grant stuff, I mean, for whatever it's worth, I mean, per 36 number, almost identical. He's just playing more minutes. He's the same guy last year. But he's done a couple things that are a little bit different that we saw earlier in the year.
Just his usage rate is up.
Yeah, but you said earlier in the year, he's just playing more minutes. It's just simply a minutes-related thing. But he's the same guy. What we've seen him do a little bit more, some stuff that he can, the up fake and then relocate, sidestep 3, attack some closeouts from time to time.
The stuff he said he was working on during the offseason. Remember the first week of training camp?
And he got to the paint a little bit in that last game, so you see it, but he can only do it certain games against certain teams. And that we keep saying the same thing. It's just not a night in, night out sort of contribution that you're getting from him. One thing that we can say for certain you are going to get good contributions from basically every single time you use it is what do we think?
I thought you were going to say Bobby Manning.
Huh? No, it's sometimes Bobby Manning, but you know what you're getting out of Athletic Greens when you take it first thing in the morning. Every morning is all you have to do. For those of you trying to improve your health in all sorts of different capacities, mental clarity, alertness, focus, your immune system, gut health, better sleep quality, all of these things. You're probably chasing a million different vitamins and supplements to get them. AG1, Athletic Greens, puts it all in one place for you. 75 vitamins, minerals, little scoop, dump it in a small glass of water, drink it in the morning, and you're good. You're gone. You're done. You can stack it. You can stack it if you're Jimmy.
You can stack it like me.
Yeah.
You can bring the travel packs with you, toss them in the bag every morning.
Yeah. So
stack it with your beef organs. No problem. Down the hatch.
Down the hatch.
Those pills are big, man. You guys wash them down with a little AG1.
I know. I squeeze it. Yeah, your fish oil, whatever you want to do there. But that's it. I mean, it's basically all you need. You know what? It's a lazy man's way out of it. You just let them do the work for you. Stop Googling, what do I need for this, and that? Just do this. It's done. You're done. You don't have to worry about it anymore. It fits with whatever diet. It's gluten-free, keto, paleo, doesn't matter. It's low calorie, almost no sugar, highly endorsed. Medical professionals, athletes use it. Thousands of 5-star reviews. So time to reclaim your health right now. Go to athleticgreens.com/garden. Free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. And that's what they're going to give you. What we're going to give you, a phenomenal t-shirt, because that's how we do. You just fill out the form. It's in the description of our show. Someone, I'm sure, will put it in the chat as well. Just do that, and you are good to go with Athletic Greens.
Phenomenal.
And phenomenal t-shirt. We'll talk more about this game when Bobby Manning jumps in. He's covering the game, this one and the one in Miami. So he's Bucket Hat Bobby in Florida hanging out right now. Hopefully we'll get some travel picks as well. Couple game-related
South Beach Bobby tomorrow.
Let me see what else we have here.
He should be wearing SPF cream cheese. down there in Florida, man.
Look
He
out,
is
ladies.
not a guy who's gonna tan well.
No, he does not. So
Lather up.
one storyline will follow. Kind of going forward. It's been a little bit of a saga here with this the Tatum wrist thing. We kind of assumed like probably not a big deal, and then he missed a game with it, and then Bobby Manning, our intrepid Bobby Manning, as we said, who is in Orlando covering the Celtics, caught up with Tatum at this morning's shoot around, and here's what Tatum had to say about the status of his wrist.
Something that might require surgery after the season?
Maybe. I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no. Just something we got to look at once the season's over. But nothing that's going to cause me to, miss significant time the rest of the season. Just, making sure I'm all right.
I feel like that's always how he answers injury questions. Doesn't matter what the injury is. It's always like, yeah, it's kind of bothering me, but, I'm just going to play through it, see how it goes. Maybe I'll get something done. Maybe I won't.
I didn't make much out of the comments, but then you see that
the bots are back.
You see that monster rap that he's got?
Yeah, they are.
I'm fixing it right now.
No, Jimmy.
I just did. I did it successfully.
Why do you always got to attack those things?
It's like
ignore 'em.
It's like when you have the hammer and you have to like bop. You have to like hit them as they come out of the ground.
I know. Bop, 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 bop.
Yeah.
Get the bots. The rap is significant, and it's like tying stuff to other stuff. That doesn't look great.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But it's something he has to deal with. I mean, he's.
I hate it.
He's mentioned that before.
I hate it because like it's something that he's thinking about. It's something he's thinking about. He could easily be hit. He could easily get hit on it, which just like hurts, man. When you're dealing with whether it's a ligament, a bone bruise, whatever, it freaking hurts to be aggressive and all that stuff. So he's gonna fight. I mean, obviously surgery is completely off the table right now. I mean, nobody would even consider that option. It seems like something that's just more of a pain tolerance thing. So I mean, it makes sense to do the off-season surgery, assuming that he can be back in time for it's not something that is a huge recovery time. I don't know how serious it would be. I have to put on my doctor hat and dive in a little bit deeper, Dr. Jim. More of the knee injury type stuff. That's where my expertise lies. Not so much in the wrist, but I'll have to add that.
I think if you asked him this a couple of weeks ago, he'd probably say the same thing. I mean, he's just been nursing that. Like,
exactly.
Anything.
He's been able to drop 50 with it. So I mean,
I'm not that worried. I'm not that worried.
I'm not worried about it. I just don't want to get. I don't want something to happen where he gets if it's not really now, but like in the playoff situation, like if he were to get hit hard or land funny on it, like then it would be problematic.
But then like in the middle of the game, like his appendix burst or something. I still don't know what happened. He just like grabbed his side and it hurt so bad he had to foul somebody. Like you wouldn't see that from a cramp. What the hell was going on? Do we have an explanation yet?
I don't think it has anything to do with his wrist, but no, we haven't. I've been trying to see if there's any sort of update, but I'd be surprised if he's already spoken.
I think he could get out of there and get to Miami. So I hope they talk so Bobby gets on here because this is a crap game to talk about for too long here.
I didn't even. Yeah, I'm trying to look at the replay of that Tatum thing, but I can't find it.
He just goes up for a 3-point shot. There's nothing.
He just walked down. He goes, "Ow!" and then he fouled somebody, and that was it.
He goes up for a 3 and comes down.
I see it.
We hear that, Jimmy. We can hear
it. Sorry. I had to lower the volume.
See, that's what happened earlier. And then right when Jimmy froze or whatever, like I was checking something and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like
this dude got hit in the head.
I gotta jump in here.
Tatum. I don't see a foul. What the hell, man? What are we talking about here?
Take us through it, Jimmy.
I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at. Somebody got hit in the head on Orlando.
Nothing happened.
I think that was Wendell.
I can't even see where the foul. Yeah, this is just bad TV.
Yeah, it's very bad TV.
Well, I didn't know you guys were going. I was watching it on the side. I didn't know you were going to stare at me.
Well,
watching it.
Well, you were
started-
I
blasting.
can't comment on that.
on
I
your
can't
damn
comment on it without
phone.
seeing it.
So you had the stage.
I know people are saying he had a cramp, but like, do you leave the game for a cramp?
He hits the
like, do
three.
you go to the locker room for a cramp,
Ask
or just sit on
ask
the
LeBron
bench?
James about that.
So he
huh?
hits the
Especially during the
three.
NBA Finals. Remember
This
that?
dude gets hit in the head. Tatum looks fine after hitting the three.
Jimmy, we could just tell you what happened. He just grabbed his side and just walked off. Nothing happened. You're not gonna you're not gonna sleuth your way to a bigger
No
solution
one's right.
here.
No one's found some like exclusive.
Everyone just
angle
hear
where
the
you-
F word. I think I figured it out. I think
Jimmy
he had to
thinks
use.
he's gonna see like
I think he had to use the
hit him in the
bathroom.
ribs or something.
Yeah,
I
like,
think
we-
he had to use the bathroom.
The pooping has been thrown out there. He had to poop, but
I think
mean,
he had to use the bathroom. That's what I'm going with. He had upset stomach. All of a sudden, just hit him.
yeah.
So that's Dr. Jim's. That's my answer.
That's Dr. Jim's
after
unprofessional.
that 3.5 minute thing you just went through. All right.
Well, I didn't realize. I was watching the clip. I didn't realize it was going to happen at the very end of the clip. Shout out Quapt. Actually, I was watching a Quap's tweet. Remember Quapt? He's a longtime diehard Celtics fan. Shout out. You know what that stands for? Quapt. KWAPT.
No.
I know who
says
he's
it
talking
stands-
about, but what's it stand for?
Kobe wears a purple thong.
Is that
There's a
really
shot-
what it stands
there's a
for?
Yeah, 1,000%. If anyone ever wondered.
Well, he probably started it back in 09, so I guess that makes sense.
Oh, at least no, probably longer than that. Yeah. Anyways, another game tomorrow. I can't believe we have to do this again.
I know. I'm saving myself too. I'm
That'd be a better
thinking of-
game though.
Like,
It'll
I'm
be a better
wondering
game.
if like Nick will pull the starters and like, and I can sit for a few.
Nick doesn't even know who they're playing. Did you see his tweet tonight? He said Celtics Wizards. Bunch of people started attacking him. They're like, "Go to bed, Boomer!" Like somebody said, "Go to bed, Boomer."
Celtics Wizards. He wasn't been thinking about the trade, you know.
What he was thinking about is Kevin Durant's season-ending injury.
Oh yeah. That was the other thing. That must have
I
been.
just
You
wanna
can't
say-
expect him to
That
be
had to be
right.
Career
troll.
for Kevin Durant.
You can't expect him to be right all the time.
His excuse
Okay.
is just always, sorry, I'm either on a cruise or I just got off a cruise or I'm still like recovering from a cruise. Like he's just perpetually disoriented due to a cruise that he's been on.
It's right. It's like kind of just like the.
Still trying to get my sea legs. Oh man.
This is what we're doing
I don't
now.
know.
The Celtics lose. We just make fun of Nick now.
No,
We're at that
yeah.
stage of the show.
I'm at that
30
stage.
minutes plus.
Speaking of the Wizards,
John, how about this? Hauser. Are you a little bit more confident in Hauser? 5
I'm
of
not.
9.
fine.
Okay,
I'll speak of the
cool,
Wizards
cool.
later.
And that was talking Hauser.
That was Hauser talk. If you want Jalen talk, you guys will get Jalen talk. Okay, you want a little Hauser talk? Oh, show
3
it
of 6
to me.
tonight.
Show it to me
From
again.
3.
It's like and again, and then a few times more. Like he was a DNPCD. I mean, he was out of the rotation, out in Neesmith land.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah. The land of Neesmiths.
Yeah.
Not a place
Gone.
you want to be. Everybody just runs around at 100 miles an hour.
Dude, 10 seconds into him coming, they switch and hunt a
Pause.
matchup and get Boncaro on him. Like as soon as he came in the game, boom, Hauser goes in, first possession, switch go. That's it. That's what they're gonna do. They'll attack him and eat him alive. And if the defense is bad enough, he's gone. He's out of the game and he'll never return. If he hits a couple of threes, he might hang a couple of minutes. That's the Hauser story. That's the Hauser story.
That's the Hauser
Yeah, I
story.
mean, I don't think
But-
any of us are surprised by that, but we thought he'd be more efficient.
I
you know?
thought he'd keep hitting the shots.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Just
doing
to
the
find the
thing.
minutes.
Just keep
you get a
doing the
couple threes
thing.
every night, this wouldn't be an issue. He would be a consistent contributor, but that hasn't been the case. I mean, I don't think. I mean, yeah, we gave him some props for
Am I allowed
coming
to?
up with defensive stops and sticking with it, or at least progressing on that end of the floor. But it's always been about his shot. It's always been about his 3-point touch. If it's not falling for you, I mean, today it was, but if it's not, that's when you don't see him, and that's why he was in the doghouse. Well, that and giving up shots on defense. I mean, Missoula pulled him down in Charlotte.
Yanked, gone. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not seeing it. Why is
Am I
Jimmy so
allowed
loud
tonight?
tonight?
Am I allowed tonight? I can't tell. I'm the one
I think you're crystal clear, Jimmy. I think people are just
Josue, you look pretty
they're not
clear
used to
tonight
it.
too. You
They're
sound
not
clear
used to you.
tonight too.
They're not used to. Thanks. They're not used to you, being much more louder than usual. Usually much more laid back and whatnot.
My Wi-Fi is ripping tonight. I'm at my parents' house. I'm in the basement of my parents' house. That's why you guys are seeing the diehards know this is not my place.
And my mic apparently came unplugged here.
Oh, whoops! I didn't mean
It's
to turn
okay
it
though.
off.
We don't do
No,
that here,
we
guys.
can still
We don't
hear you.
Wi-Fi shame.
John in a tin can.
But that's why my mic got unplugged, and I think I was transmitting through the computer.
Oh wow! So JB Zhang actually helped the broadcast.
He helped the production. 35. Where were you earlier, bud?
Seriously,
that's all I gotta say.
Appreciate you.
Plug in your cords, everybody. I didn't think I had to remind you of that, John. Plug it in. Don't just wear it.
It was in.
John's got headphones on, but like the audio is just blasting through the computer. He has no idea. He just can't figure it out.
No, I can hear you fine. My audio was set to computer and not whatever because the cord came loose. And now we're good. We're good. I don't know why Jimmy's loud.
I don't know why I'm loud either. I'll whisper. I'll talk softer. Anyways. But yeah, my Wi-Fi is ripping right now. My audio is clear.
And Jimmy, in fact, so you know, put the toilet paper back on the stairs.
So I had like I had another job video call before this.
You were supposed to bring that up 2 days ago, Jimmy. Come on.
I had to move everything from behind. I was like, well, for the sake of the show, I'm gonna put it all back. And by the way, I would never buy this Scott's crap here. It's trash. It's way too like not what you want to be.
What does this mean? Using. Give me a super chat. You want us to pay you, JB?
He's like, yo, split that in half. He wants some change.
Give me a super chat. You are the super chat, my man.
You did it. Say something.
You are the super chat.
You super chatted, right?
Did he miss his own message? Maybe he missed it.
Yeah, we gave it to you. He fixed the broadcast. He wants a T-shirt, I think now.
Give me a super chat.
Fill out the form. John will send you a T-shirt.
No, Jimmy, we're getting killed on these things. Just.
I can't feed my family anymore.
We're getting killed on these things. Gelso cries every time.
Yeah, we need to start making like a way worse quality T-shirt.
He wants a super chat because he helped with the mic. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Okay, just make a basketball related comment. We'll put it on the screen and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Do you have anything basketball to say, or just want to comment on the audio? But yeah, some bulk paper products going on. My parents are getting into they're like almost doomsday prepping. They're those people now. I think they've just been watching.
Is that why you have all that stuff in the bag?
If we're at toilet paper at 37 minutes, I'm just gonna start talking about The Last of Us TV show.
My mom bought like
I haven't seen the episode yet. The second one.
Phone charger brick.
Which, by the way, when I got into this show, I was under the assumption there were like 5 deep. Like 5 in. There was one
you jumped in at the ground. You jumped into the ground floor.
I know, but I was a little disappointed because obviously you want to see more. But I'm not going to complain about the 90 minute episode.
I love. You call me a boomer, but it's not a boomer thing. I love weekly episodes instead of the all at once drop. Because
me too. I just
about TV shows now.
I thought I
was
part
of the convo. Yes.
Yeah.
It's part of the convo.
Way.
Yeah.
And I like the build up.
And it lasts longer. It's in the conversation for longer.
The way everyone was talking about it, I'm thinking there was like at least 2 or 3. I was like, oh man. But
no, it's good for those people saying, look, if you, I don't know
the week thing is
it's called The Last of Us. I don't know the video game it's based off of, so I don't know whether it's true to it. I also don't know what being true to a video game means.
What does that even mean, right? Yeah.
I mean, I get it. So like, you go different places and you encounter different things, and it's part of an adventure.
But is there a storyline?
But they're trying to make it more cinematic than interactive. Right. And I know it's being relatively faithful to it in terms of like they enter a certain place and it looks like this, and that's what it looks like in the show, and you encounter these types of beasts there and blah 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 blah. But if you like zombies and like post-apocalyptic dystopian sort of vibes, it's great. It's Walking Dead, but like Walking Dead was garbage.
Do I need to beat the to understand the show. Like
you don't need anything about the video
book
game.
was way
No,
better.
no.
Is the people are gonna be like, oh, well, you really have to beat the video game in order to understand.
You think I
You
know about the
don't.
video game?
Another great example, best show of the last 2 years was Arcane, which is also from a video game, and League of Legends. I knew nothing about it. Phenomenal. But phenomenal. Arcane's phenomenal.
You got to go
show.
Phenomenal.
But you should check it out. That was our
Speaking
little digression while we waited for Professor Bobby Manning to join us from Orlando. He can talk more about basketball because I'm tired of talking about this game. But Bobby is fresh from the locker room where Joe Mazzulla, I'm sure, said that the Celtics played great. And what else happened?
I got the quotes right here. You want to see them? Compelling.
See how Orlando does it?
This is what I do. This is my style.
Look at that.
Orlando takes care of it.
He dove
Why don't
deep
you
on
read
the
us
game.
Read us an excerpt.
Orlando PR. Nice work there.
Read us your favorite quote from it.
There's like 4 readers that will do that. Maybe more.
Credit Orlando. They played hard. They played physical. They played with an edge the entire game.
Are you in the locker room?
Yeah. There you go. There's the story of the game. No, I thought the pace of the game got out of hand in the third. I don't know. I have to check the tag when I head over there for the Jays. But listen, Tatum went out of the game. John was texting. He's probably already said it. Tatum goes out of that game in the third. Brown takes over on the ball, and they turned it over. They made bad reads. Joe talked about that as well. And the game got away from them pace-wise. It flew in the other direction. 20 to 5
That's the complete tipping point of the game. I mean, that's it. Tatum goes out. It becomes the JB and the bench show, and it was a freaking disaster.
Yeah, no ball handlers. You had White going through some neck pain in this game. I just talked to him in the locker room. Said he'll be all right. He played well, but they didn't empower him enough with the ball, and he didn't go and get it and make plays in the second half. He scored a few times when they got to him, but I thought he was sort of out of the flow of the offense.
With his few opportunities, he made a couple of plays, but you're right. He was almost invisible for most of the night.
Yeah, they need to find him, and Joe even said it. They made some bad reads at the rim, turned the ball over in those spots, and that just fed Jonathan Isaac with a bounce-back game 2 years later, and Paolo Banchero, who's continued to be great, and really good Magic team that's now, I think, handed it to the Celtics 3 times now this year. Super impressive stuff what they've done against them, and you can't say in this game, they overlooked them, or they weren't ready for it. All the different things you might say about a game like this, because this team just swept them in that mini-series a month ago. So they just got beat. Being undermanned hurt. The Magic were pretty much fully loaded. But you have Tatum and Brown. You got to win a game like this, and they weren't really there. And what do you think of Tatum after he came back, John? It wasn't great stuff. No one really asserted themselves in the fourth. They had 19 points in the fourth.
It was pretty passive.
Yeah.
It was passive. It was a passive effort. We also mentioned, the 2 things I harped on Bobby was, yes, I didn't want to go bananas with it, but the Jalen minutes and the Jalen with the other guys' minutes with Tatum off the floor was the huge difference tonight. If you just look at their plus minuses, it's really hard for them both to play 37 minutes and Tatum to be plus whatever he was, 15, and Brown to be minus 20. I mean, that means you absolutely puked all over yourself those minutes. And everything went bad when it was just Jalen and no Tatum tonight. And it was mostly evident in that big run there where everything kind of went away. And then the other was they just let the officials kind of get to them again. And I thought they were really bothered by.
Well, so that was I didn't like that call in the fourth either, where they held the ball and let Orlando challenge. That definitely got
dumb.
to them.
Yeah,
it was
Al
kind of
asking
ridiculous.
for the ball. Yeah.
And you had guys.
Lack of awareness.
We were sitting right by the bench. Yeah. Everyone on the Celtics bench was freaking out when that happened, and they didn't play well after that. Those moments in the game where they got frustrated, it definitely impacted them in this game, like we've seen in some other games in the past. Not as much recently, but it's always there with them, and it probably played some factor tonight as well. But not a great showing for the depth, and you had a Kevin Jelly performance to start the fourth. They're looking for some big man depth. They didn't go back to Blake. They didn't really play Grant a ton in the fourth either. They closed with White and Pritchard, and you're missing Rob in this game as well. So kind of stunning to see him. Joe said he was looking for some rim threats and rebounding, but they didn't really get it. He was out there for about 2-3 minutes, and he fouled a couple times.
That's what Josue said. Probably wanted a little energy, some offense.
Good to see him though. I think a lot of people have wanted to see him, but
he grabbed one. But
Wait, why was it good to see him?
I think just a lot of people wanted to see him.
Good?
No,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people wanted to see him. And
Yeah,
you
just
saw him.
like who?
Refresh
like
me
his
the
family?
It was good. Yeah.
I'm
Were his
just saying.
parents in attendance?
People are saying
Jimmy's like, is he from Florida?
yeah.
I've seen a
How
lot.
many
I've seen a
tickets
lot of
did he buy?
commenters say. I've seen a lot of commenters say they wanted to see him at some point. So you saw him. There you go.
Yeah, honestly, I'm joking. I mean, try it. I'm fine with it. You know, as opposed to just
It was worth a shot. What were they down 11?
Same old. I mean, apparently he's dominating up there in Maine, according to you at least, Bobby. So I mean, I'll toss him in there and see what they can do with it. But yeah, am I counting on him to do much? No. I think it's just more about what they think about Blake than anything else.
Strange to not see Blake in that spot, right?
Yeah,
But that was exactly it. I think you got your Blake quota and you realized against a team that tall, you're not going to get anything there. So I think they wanted like the energy and the jump a little bit. And he rolled the dice. Honestly, I love that he did that.
Yeah, I have no issue with it.
Yeah,
Mess around with it, you should be.
We're always saying try to get creative.
Yeah, exactly.
You end up looking a little thin going to that though, and having Pritchard out there late, and you're missing what? 3 main guys, at least 2, right? Smart, Rob. Who else?
Well, you knew it was going to be
just
Brogdon
as well. Yeah,
just the first.
So you're missing three.
You're missing 3,
guys.
and you're not that deep to begin with. I mean, you're 8 deep, and you're missing 3 guys. You're really screwed here. You know, I mean,
I was getting ready to see Davison once White put the ice pack on his neck. So
no, I mean, you had to start.
That would have
Blake.
been fun, actually.
You had to start Blake because if you start Grant, you have your bench is a disaster coming in if you got to go wholesale and you're going Pritchard, Hauser, Blake, and what. I mean, it's really gross there. So they had to do what they had to do. You down 3 guys. Some rotations are going to be ugly. It really is incumbent on the Stars to kind of keep you afloat. They didn't do enough tonight. I mean, it's a hard task, but like they just had to be better, and you needed better contributions from the fringe guys. Like Josue mentioned, Pritchard doesn't step up in his minutes after coming off a really good game. That's disappointing. Grant did nothing. I think he gets swallowed up by big teams like this because he can't really get anywhere and do anything.
The physicality of this team's astounding. I mean, that's what decided the last 2 games too. Packing the paint, taking the rim away, similar to what we saw in the Warriors game.
They're big, man. They're so big. I mean, they're tall. So I get it. At least we didn't have a revenge of bowl game.
No,
but
not quite.
But that false block on Tatum was pretty.
Oh,
resounding.
he loved that one. Yeah,
Great play.
It made me rethink the Celtics' decision to take Tatum.
Imagine if this team gets Wembanyama. It's gonna be something.
Well, when they don't get Wemby or Scoot, they can thank the Celtics for these 3 gimmies that
right. How many wins is that out of their total?
3 out of 18. They'd be right in the mix of the bottom 3 or 4 teams if not for that.
Right,
so
we are getting Jalen and Jason now. I'm gonna.
I hear Jalen and Jason. We may not be here, Bobby, but it was nice to see you. Okay.
Good stuff, Bobby.
Yes. So Bobby
Manning, everybody.
We'll tell you once again about another one of our sponsors here, Rocket Money.
Yes.
Save yourself some money with Rocket Money. Formerly Truebill can save hundreds.
Rocket Money saved John's marriage.
I am a victim of many online scams, apparently, and Rocket Money has helped.
John's the guy who, the prince of somebody, emails him, with tears in his eyes, needing help, and John's like, what
"Did I really win?"
Yeah. Wait,
that random Saturday during the pandemic where you just signed up for some random thing you completely forgot about.
$1. Yeah.
So for the first week.
Back. Rocket Money's like, what's this? Like, what are you been paying for this whole time?
Listen, you dummy, you're paying $30 a month now. So
you know what happens? You get a $1. You subscribe to something. It's $1 for the first 2 weeks, and then they jack it up on you. You don't even realize it.
Yeah. Yes.
Sometimes it's the first few months, but yeah, go ahead.
This is exactly right.
Should we keep interrupting?
I was about to go bankrupt until I discovered Rocket Money. Rocket Money saved my life.
Thanks, Rocket Money.
Rocket Money legitimately saved me about $475.
Yeah, we went over this. You have a problem.
We have a problem. I have a problem. I have a subscription problem. but it
And
consolidates
you guys are
all
just
of your
like John. Many of our viewers.
The numbers say most people think they've only got 3 or 4 or 5, but you're probably spending $200, and that's way more than you need to. Rocket Money finds all of your subscriptions, puts them in one place, gives you an opportunity to cancel, lets you renegotiate your rates. Make sure you're not getting double billed. It really is worth it just because it takes care of it for you. So if you go to rocketmoney.com/garden, you save hundreds, cancel your unnecessary subscriptions. If you order one of their if you subscribe to one of their packages here, like with anything, you support the Garden Report, we will absolutely send you one of these phenomenal t-shirts.
Hard hat t-shirt, hard hat season t-shirt coming.
Well, what I'm also asking is, I want some of you guys, I want to see 1 or 2 of these phenomenal t-shirts out in the wild.
Too.
We've sent out a few dozen.
That's it?
At least
are we behind in our orders?
We're a little bit behind too. But there's at least 100 out. There's at least 100 out in Gen Pop right now. I want to see a couple surface at a game. So
let's see. Over 100 of these bad boys floating around.
Yeah.
Wow. I'd love to see one at a game. You know what? If we see a picture,
you're still waiting for your shirt. DM me.
If you send us a picture,
random people are going to be hitting you up now.
If you send us a picture of you wearing a phenomenal t-shirt, we will send you a phenomenal
Jimmy,
t-shirt.
Stop giving away my business.
We will send you another phenomenal t-shirt.
John's like, yo, we're in the red. All right, relax. Don't affect the bottom line, Jimmy. Come on now.
That's true. Well, I keep saying this. I'd love a t-shirt. I would wear the t-shirt, John, if I was ever given one. I don't know what I have to do.
Pull up to the studio and grab a box worth, or maybe just a few.
Nick is holding all the t-shirts, forcing us to see him and go hang out with him so we can get a t-shirt. I think that's what it is.
All right, you down, Jimmy? Let's go.
Yeah, I need to make sure that there's a bunch of t-shirts. John, are the t-shirt orders in? Are they in office right now?
He's like, don't make me waste a trip now. John hates this conversation right now.
No,
He's not listening. He checked out.
I checked out. I'm like,
he's like, you guys are getting one shirt each. That's it. I don't know what
I hear through the grapevine there are more t-shirt designs in process right now. So something to think about, everybody. Something to think about. There could be more t-shirts coming.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm on a different thread with my friends who are now watching the second episode of The Last of Us, and
I gotta watch that, man.
I'm filling them in.
I don't even know what I can tell you. I won't see it.
Watch the first episode, Jimmy. Watch it. Trust me, you'll be like, all right, I get it now.
I don't watch TV.
One of the cool things too, and if you stack it, I'm not comparing it to Walking Dead just because it lives in the same genre, but one of the cool things when you stack a show like this versus Walking Dead, you see like the advantage of having an HBO budget. Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It's such a big difference. Yeah. It's so insane.
Were you a huge
Walking Dead has to do an entire season in one place because they only had enough money in one set. Like these guys just had this awesome set piece in the second episode that they just tossed away. They'll never use it again. They're gone.
Right. And just for that one episode.
That one episode, maybe the third of the episode is there, and they'll never use it again. And that's the Walking Dead's entire season budget.
Oh, especially that first season, right? And look, I was a guy who, after like season, I don't know, 4 maybe, I just lost interest in The Walking Dead. So, but I can see the comparison.
Once Negan showed up, it got bad.
Yeah, same. Okay, so you didn't see the whole thing throughout, right?
No.
Some fanatics, man, they never stopped. Like they were watching it religiously. I'll give them credit though. Season 1 and 2 were solid. But the whole love triangle thing, I don't know why they didn't stretch that out.
It became so boring and cheaply put together. And
like the beginning, I don't want to ruin anything.
Somebody put it in here. Walking Dead is like a soap opera, you know.
I'm glad I never watched it.
Yeah,
but they could have stretched that out a little bit. You know, I don't know. It would have been. They could have added storylines to that. But
yeah, it became garbage. This has the makings of a good show. It's worth checking it out.
If you work from home, you can watch any TV show you want.
Oh yeah,
you just watch TV all damn day if you work from home.
All right, Jimmy, you're gonna watch it,
Jimmy puts his hard hat on and heads to work every single day.
Yeah, sorry I'm out in the front lines.
Forget we may even mention it.
Some people have to work so that you guys can watch TV all damn day.
Meanwhile, this dude is binge watching. I think you should leave for like the third time.
Okay, that.
But they're like 12-minute episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Those I can do.
You watch a whole season in like
No. Jimmy Stretch is one of those guys. He has his shows, but then that's it. He's not going to venture out. He'd rather rewatch those shows.
Dude, I have
than
like
to
3.
venture
You're
out to
right.
something new.
You're right. I don't even know how people have time
Got
for
it.
TV.
Let's
I'll
do
toss on like just some mindless reality TV show that I don't have to like learn what's going on.
Yeah.
That's it. Or
Yeah,
sports. How are you guys watching like basketball and football and like all this stuff, and then like, oh yeah, I just finished season 1 and 2 of like show X too.
Staying up late.
What the hell are we doing?
Stay up
Yeah,
late.
but we're not
late,
binge
late,
watching,
late.
right, John? You're not going through a bunch of episodes. Most of these shows, it's like 1 or 2 episodes a week.
I do everything. I consume a lot of content. Both
He's a
sports
content
and
consumer. That's one way to say you watch a shitload of TV. I just consume content.
Yeah,
But I
Content
read.
consumer.
I'm a subscription fiend. I read a ton. I just constantly am just shoving things into my friggin'. I can't not be consuming
Just constant
something.
storylines and
It's-
For
stuff.
somebody who consumes so much, you know how to talk and consume. You can do it both, huh?
You know, you certainly don't know a lot for someone who consumes as much as you do.
yeah. Where is it going?
I figure you'd have some knowledge by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what it is. Anyway, we got Miami tomorrow.
Exactly. John's a sponge.
Marcus day to day, today. Joe won't tell anybody anything. It's starting to make Bobby a little mad, but we're gonna let that go.
You can see it, Bobby. Bobby's getting a little.
He's like a race car in the red.
A
Okay.
little perturbed.
Bobby just wants to hear Joe Mazzulla say, "I'm really concerned about Marcus, or I'm concerned about anything."
Right.
It's not gonna happen. He's got the poker face on. He's gonna keep.
He gave the Belichick of like a Belichickian answer today when someone asked like, so what
He's
is he
been
doing?
doing
Is he
week.
walking around? Is he limping? Does he have a boot on? What's going on? And he goes, yeah, somewhere in between all that. And I was like, oh,
That's what happens. That's what happens when you answer your own question.
That's just disrespectful.
You gotta just
It's like
straight
when
up ask it.
he asked Corrales if there's a such thing as a bad win. You know, he's getting a little.
I heard that. Yeah.
He's clapping back.
Oh, he's testy. He does not like your bullshit narratives, guys.
No.
I'll tell you that. Last thing I wanted to
He
mention
ain't playing in the sandbox.
is of late I've seen some stories about Peyton Pritchard. Some teams are interested.
Where's this coming from?
Just teams might be calling, to trade, not to trade. We've talked about on this show, and there's a strange There's a strange movement.
Stranger Things. Are we still talking TV?
That's people are talking about. People are saying things like you can't trade Peyton Pritchard, and yes, you can. Like,
yeah, you definitely can.
I don't think people say that. People are preferring the Celtics not to. But
okay, but yes, you can.
For 2 firsts,
I'm one of those people.
you can.
What are you hoping happens with Peyton Pritchard here? You have 3 point guards on your roster, okay? Even when 2 of them are hurt, he doesn't play that much, okay?
True.
But 2 of them have to be out for extended time for Pritchard to be useless on a regular basis. All of these guys are under contract till at least 2025, by which point you'll have to have decided whether you're going to pay Peyton Pritchard to keep him around. There is no future for Peyton Pritchard here. He is the insurance to the insurance. Are we really saying you can't trade him right now for something that might be useful and get you one step closer to a title in any of these next 2 seasons? That's insane. Of course you're trading him.
My thing is that he's not untradeable, but what are
you gonna get for him? He doesn't make any money.
Right. That too, and plus, like, for when guys are out, whether it's again Brogdon or Smart, like, okay, tonight was not the greatest of examples, but he's more times than not ready for those situations, and it's not ideal. Obviously, these guys missing time, but if one of them were to miss time, especially any time near the postseason when the Celtics are trying to make. They're trying to position themselves for the playoffs. I mean, he's going to be important. I really do believe that. Long term, I'm not saying that. I don't think you got to lock this guy in. Obviously, I mean, you just pointed out a couple of great reasons not to. But when you look at this trade value, I mean, what are we talking here? What, a second rounder and a guy who's has the same value as him? I mean, look, if you're putting him in a trade with Gallinari to go out and get a 3-and-D guy, a legitimate wing.
Yes, that's what you're doing.
Okay. now we're talking then. Okay, but then who
throw in a little first round pick to spice it up and get somebody who's actually good, re-sign that guy, let Grant walk. Great. Now we're talking.
But Rui's gone.
You could be looking towards the future too. It doesn't just have to be a rental. Rui is Grant basically ish.
Right. But last week when that came up during the
Spaces, who you like better there. Yeah.
I like that idea. I'm still high on Jay Crowder. I would like to see them make a deal that way. Does Pritchard, is that the way you get Crowder? I mean, you're gonna have to put Gallinari in there just to match up contracts. But I mean, I don't know. Would you trade both of those guys for Crowder? I don't know if that's the move. If that's gonna elevate this team. But I mean, again, if you're coupling him with Gallinari to get a wing, someone of that caliber that you could throw in when Tatum and Brown need a breather, then I'm for that. Especially if it's someone that can guard the opposing team's best player, or at least give you that type of minutes on the defensive end. I mean, that's the one part of this team that I think is you can elevate. Obviously, it's secondary wing players.
Need it. I don't know who that person is, but if one shakes
right now, it's Hauser. Like you know how we feel about him. I mean, that's it. It's Hauser.
I don't know who on the open market shakes free, because a lot of dominoes could fall. First, you got to see there's certain teams that are kind of on the fence in terms of contending and whether or not they're going to kind of go for it or not. So you really have to see how that goes first. But I mean, there could be a lot of dominoes fall. You see teams like Toronto, Washington's already made a deal. You could see a team like Toronto starting to unload. Not like you're going to get one of their big guns, but there'll be a trickle down effect there. You don't know what Portland's going to do. Like there's a few teams that San Antonio's always looking to dump. There could be a lot of sellers, and if somebody wants a young, sparky point guard, exactly, Sparky.
There you go,
Sparky. And a couple of second round picks, and they'll give you something that they're not going to fit into their long-term future plans. Bring it, bring it. Eat a little tax if you have to, and make it happen by all means. But this idea that Pritchard's an asset they need to hold on to is a little baffling to me. Like need, it's not a need. You're not going to give him for nothing just because he's not playing. You don't want to give him. It's an asset. If it ever has value, you want to cash it in when it has the most value, whether it's to you or to someone else. But I just a strange conversation kind of going around out there about you can't trade him, and I just didn't really understand that.
Well, I think there
or
are
you
some
shouldn't
fans
trade him. You should hold him. You should hold him.
Yeah, I mean, there are just some fans out there where they just get attached to, it doesn't matter who you are. They don't want to trade you, I think Pritchard probably has more value to other teams. It's like
exactly. And you might get more in return to you. That's the whole. These are the best trades, right? Ones that help both sides. It's right. He has no value to you right now. He's a luxury.
He has some value, but it's not enough to be like, I don't think that they should consider trading him. I think just like you have a lot of guards. If they're healthy, there's no really role for Pritchard at all. So if you're assuming that you're going into playoffs with a healthy Smart, Brogdon, and White, I mean, why wouldn't you? And on the other end of the spectrum, you have a banged up center in Rob Williams, where he's one injury away from sort of derailing this whole thing, one serious injury away, because you don't have enough depth at that 5 position. We just talked about how they're undersized. Horford's not banging down low. Grant's not big enough. Luke is Luke. If Rob can't, figure out these health things that keep popping up, then they're going to need depth there. My whole thing though is that, how much of that are you waiting to see if it comes in the buyout market? And I know you're not going to get a superstar in the buyout market, but you might. There's always a couple bigs that are floating around that are looking to jump on a team, and I think the Celtics would be a top priority. I think they would be the top like option for a buyout, a somewhat capable buyout big.
Yes, they probably are near the top because you're looking for a title here. Answer to this question is you're going to get somebody who plays a different position. That's the point. Pritchard is behind 3 guys, and right now you have no wing depth whatsoever, so that's going to give you automatically more minutes over guys like Hauser and reduce Tatum and Brown's workload by a little bit. Or you're going to get some bigs in here when you do have Rob and Al sitting out games left and right, you're actually able to not have to play Blake. Basically, you're bumping the you're bumping the dregs out by bringing in another piece that you're actually going to play. Pritchard isn't playing in this current rotation. You're going to squeeze out some other guys. You'll squeeze some Cornette minutes if you get a big out. You'll squeeze Blake minutes out. You'll have Grant playing, not having to play small ball 5 as much and playing more in a position that's natural to him. Like the overall impact that it has if you're able to get somebody to play some of these positions where you're not as deep. Your deepest area of the team right now is in point guard. You have 3 starting point guards right now. I just don't understand what Pritchard's going to do. He can't play really with when one of those other guys is on the court for that long. You just can't really sustain it. So he's just, I just don't see where he goes here, but it's a conversation that will continue because he's definitely
also
the most tradable guy.
And it's not a slight at Pritchard. It's actually commending him. He's worth something. So people want to be like, oh, you guys are hating or blah, blah, blah. No, we're not. We're saying he's actually too good for the role he has. And you might be able to get something for him.
And Jimmy, if you think that, and you think that he has value and he's undervalued, and in fact, Did
he just freak out on you too?
Sorry, it just muted itself. If you love Pritchard so much,
I think you unplugged yourself, bruh.
No. I pressed the mute button. I don't know what
sound different.
It's all right. Keep going.
But we can hear you. But you just sound a little different. You sound like Tin Can John is back.
Tin Can Johnny. Watch for good John again. Ready?
There you go. You did it.
Trade another guy. Be bold.
Sound like someone was mixing there. You were like, bip, 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 and you came back in.
Yeah, you went remix.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
It's just old. It's just boomer wires.
Yeah, it's the transistor radio behind you that's signal. You just need to fix the antenna.
Yeah, my shit's bad, Mr.
Boomer
ring light, toilet paper, right? Yeah.
You should see my setup right now. It's actually it's quite comical.
I looked like you were. Are you squatting on something? Are you like on a bucket?
I am on a.
He's got something weird going on.
I'm on like.
I feel like your knees are high right now.
I'm on like a couch. No, they're not. They're not. They're at length. I'm sitting on a pillow on top of an ottoman, actually. And I have like a living room lamp. I have like a living room lamp like pointed at my face, and I have this fold out table, and my laptop is on top of a puzzle box, because I don't know if you guys can see. There's a puzzle box there. There used to be like 15 puzzles. That was a COVID thing.
This dude just painted a whole picture there.
What else could you do? Like in the peak of COVID, you just did like puzzles and stuff. We didn't watch TV. We did puzzles. You guys were binging season 12 of something outrageous. We were doing 1,000-piece puzzles. So I'm using one of them as a laptop.
It's not The Walking Dead, all right? Walking Dead got 12 seasons.
What's the last TV show? I did watch the. I jumped in on the Game of Thrones whole ordeal. So I am in that.
Of course you did.
I had no choice. I couldn't be a part of any conversations that were going on.
Josue, I will ask you, do you recognize who the girl is in did you watch Game of Thrones?
No, I didn't watch it.
Then forget it. Then you will not have.
You didn't watch Game of Thrones? Oh my god, what a loser.
What do you mean? That first episode was terrible.
The female actress is Liana Mormont.
First episode, dude. You got to give it more than a chance, more than one episode.
I know, but I rewatched it twice. Well, second time I was on a flight.
I'll be honest, it's not the first season you have to worry about. It's the last season.
The 2 main actors in The Last of Us were both in Game of Thrones. That's why I mentioned it.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
The 2 main actors, who are they?
Liana
Liana
Mormont.
Jon Snow.
Liana Mormont was one of them.
Mormont.
Yeah.
Marshmont.
Yeah.
Is the second episode?
Bobby's back to say goodbye.
And the other guy who was Oberyn Martell, the whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, go ahead.
Is the second episode 90 minutes long too? Or?
No, I don't know. Anyway, what's up, Bobby? What did you learn? What did those guys? What did those guys say? Well, we didn't bring it tonight. We got to be more connected.
No, Jalen acknowledged the lackadaisical turnovers and that he committed. He took credit for them. It wasn't a we, John. So give him some points there.
Other people turned it over too. Why are you asking me?
He took full credit. And then Jason talked a little bit more about how these teams bother them. Jalen introduced it, but the Orlandos, the
Torontos,
Torontos,
great show. What are you guys talking about?
Seriously.
the who's the other team you mentioned? Cleveland's. Said those teams bother them with the length, with the size, the way they play defense, some of the things that they do on that end disrupt them. And we've talked about it a lot on this show. I'll throw Brooklyn in there and I'll throw Golden State. Those aren't bigger teams. Well, Brooklyn is, but they crowd the paint. These teams that can do it bother them in incredibly effective ways. And I got a lot of crap on Twitter for saying that you don't want to see Toronto round one. You barely squeaked out that game, too. So that was another game you could have looked at and said, oh, that's another team with length and physicality and big bodies in the paint that Celtics have a ton of trouble with. You know, it'll be better tomorrow. You can attack a lot of smaller guards and stuff, and it'll be fine. But these teams give them
you'll get reinforcements tomorrow, too. Let's hear. This is JB on the turnovers. Here he is.
They upped the pressure, and we got some good looks, but, too many careless turnovers, and that's what, led to them transition scoring. And a lot of that's on me, and that stuff, that just being nonchalant. And, Orlando took advantage of that tonight.
Accountability. Done. It is what it is. But you're right. It frustrates them. Those big teams, when they crowd the paint, they can't get where they want to go, get forced into some weird choices, don't make great decisions, kind of force the action a little bit. That's definitely what happened here tonight. But right out of the gate, Bobby, there wasn't a lot of good movement from these guys from quarter one. It wasn't just something where, like, as the game wore on, they got more frustrated and started kind of trying to force the issue. They weren't really moving the ball much at all.
No, a lot of pull-ups. Even in the mid-range, you saw Grant do it, you saw Tatum do it. And the Magic did a better job of the things they want to do. A ton of handoffs on that Orlando side, creating the mismatches in the flow of the offense, and getting into the half court quickly to find those mismatches or getting ahead of everybody for those dunks they threw down. Some impressive stuff from Orlando. It didn't blow you away, but just doing little simple things that the Magic, that the Celtics weren't capable of.
Jimmy would like to speak.
Question for Bobby. Why did Tatum leave the game?
He said he was dealing with some pain on his left side, some cramping, nothing to do with the ribs. So he
did he have to use the bathroom?
Believe he
Yes.
did.
That's it.
Believe he did.
Wait, really?
Dr. Jim.
No, I don't know.
But there's a chance.
There's a chance. You leave for 4 minutes. What else are you doing back there?
I mean, dude, you got a cramp. I mean, sometimes you gotta take care of business.
It's crazy how much the game fell apart with them out there, though. What were they up 2? And then they go down by 15-point swing there. Yeah, 13-point game where he got back. He said he didn't even see any of it. He just got back out there and said he felt a little pain in the fourth quarter, but nothing too serious. And again, getting injury updates out of these guys or getting them to talk about that stuff's tough. Like I said, I caught up with White in the locker room. He had an ice bag on that neck. Would he hurt that against Charlotte a week and a half ago?
But he didn't even – there was no contact on this injury. He just kind of –
So did you see what happened?
Yeah, it wasn't he didn't snap back, but I think he just kind of – when he was falling, he just kind of felt – but it wasn't like he got smacked again. It looked really benign.
So he was talking to Justin Jackson on the bench. And he was kind of doing that little, motion
I think he just jerked it a teeny bit and then was like but it didn't look violent at all.
And then he was saying that again in the locker room. I asked him what happened there, and he just said I'll be all right. So yeah, nothing too much there.
Yep. Bobby, closing thoughts. We're gonna wrap it.
Again, you're down a bunch of bodies in this game, so it's tough to take anything definitively from it, especially after a 9-game win streak where you look great. You're not going to act like the world's ending, but it is one of the matchups and one of the deficiencies of this team that could bring you back closer to the pack potentially, and in terms of the teams at the top of the league there, or inform what you want to do at the deadline here. If you're looking at some of this back end depth right now and saying all right, if these guys come in a playoff series, can you get by with them? It's going to depend on the matchup a lot too, right? Cornette's a great backup against certain teams, not against this one. Blake, I don't know what you're going to do there in terms of his minutes in the playoffs and where he could even fit in if someone else got hurt. He's probably not a factor there at all. And Pritchard closes this game. I know you didn't like his minutes, John. He's given you some great ones so far in 3 absences for other guys, but it kind of came back down to earth a little bit tonight. And you see some of the deficiencies from him. Although I don't think he had a bad game. I think plus minus told the story. He was just a +0, right? So he didn't really swing things in either direction there, which I guess is fine over 30 minutes if that's the position he's going to be put in. But you're looking at this team and a couple of bodies go out and you're down to some Calvin Gelly minutes in the fourth. It's the kind of depth stuff we've talked about. You basically had 6 guys come into this game who weren't able to do much. And you could even throw Grant in that as the 7th, but what he's capable of. Or Blake, I guess, would be the 7th in that mix. So how do you feel about Sam? I didn't hear you guys' thoughts on him.
Again,
fine.
Good, but you got,
good.
you got to see it. Like, this was a regular occurrence the first month of the season, and then it never happened. So, but you need a few of them. If you're going to get back in, you got to be able to repeat this performance, which is be part of the offense, have some shots fall, not be a total liability on defense. That was the formula. Like, you're not expecting him to be a world beater on D, but he's got to be a sharpshooter. He can't, that's the trade-off. That's the only reason. That's the only way he plays. So it was good to see him get in the flow and knock down shots, but he's just got to do it. It's almost like you almost have to. Here's the problem with him. It is almost comparable to Neesmith in the sense that his future minutes are totally determined by whether or not.
So I was thinking that in the locker room.
He's able to do anything in his first stint. And the pressure there is, we're going to put you in. You got about 6 minutes here. You knock down a couple shots, you'll get more minutes later. You don't, you'll never play another minute again. And
he's in that spot, isn't he?
He's in that spot, and that's where Neesmith was, where he'd come in and you'd see them. They'd run a set for him right out of the gate so he could get a good open shot, and maybe it would go down, and it wouldn't, and then he'd brick another, and that was it. Gone for the game. And then gone for like 3 games after with DNP-CDs. And Hauser's
see the
in that
facial
territory.
Expressions too, when they make a mistake or they miss a shot or they're coming off a tough stretch.
You're auditioning every time. The only way a guy like Hauser works is you have to just basically commit to the fact that he's your third wing. He's going to play a minimum 15 to 18 minutes a game to spell those guys because you want to get them rest, and you live with his minutes, and whatever happens, happens. But he's guaranteed them because that's the best you've got, and that's the only way you'll get the most out of him. If you're not prepared to do that, you're going to keep jerking him around. And he'll have a game like this, but if the next one he comes out and he doesn't hit his shots and he's like, am I going back in ever? And he doesn't, then he's right back where he started. So you really can't screw with players like this early in their development and when they're basically auditioning for their minutes every single second they're out there. Now, if you give him a stretch of 10 games playing 15, 18 minutes a game and he's lousy in all of them, you make a move. But he was trending in the wrong direction for a while. It didn't just all of a sudden happen. And
he was playing every night for a while. It's the last 2 nights for that change. Yeah. So we'll see where they go with him from here. I asked him tonight. You
almost have no choice without a trade, though. You have to find a way you have to get the most out of him.
Yeah, I asked him tonight what Joe told him or what his reaction was to falling out of the rotation for those couple of games there, and he said if another guy's got it, he's got it. And Peyton did have it there for a little while, and that's the trade-off we saw. They tried Justin for a few minutes against Charlotte, but I don't think he's a real threat to Sam's spot there. So he's in a very easy position to regain it, and tonight was the first step. Again, you need to see a couple of them, as you said, John, but tonight was fine.
Yep. All right, well, we're back tomorrow. Bobby's in Miami, South Beach Bobby. We'll check it out. I'm expecting Rob to be playing. This was a classic. This wasn't. This was not the hyperextension that caused him to leave last game while he was out. This was the Horford sits the second of back-to-back and Rob sits the first of a back-to-back, that they're going to be doing this trade-off possibly for the rest of the season. So Rob's going to play tomorrow.
Probably no Horford, no Smart tomorrow, I'd imagine.
Yeah, no Horford, no Smart. Brogdon, they still don't know whether he's going to play. We don't know what that personal situation is, Bobby, so we'll just kind of leave it.
Yeah, I didn't see him here today. I guess a couple reporters saw Smart at shoot-around, so he is here, and they said he wasn't moving great. I didn't see him there, but he is on the trip, so I guess it's feasible he plays tomorrow. But again, not a lot of tangible updates on these guys.
Yeah, and last week he was on the injury report for the same reason, but he was questionable, and then he ended up playing, which is you rarely see that when someone has the personal reason thing.
Oh, Brogdon,
take that day off. Yeah, Brogdon, and then for him to take it now, I guess. Yeah.
Well, Brogdon must have to be in Boston or somewhere else for something, so it's just whether or not he can get back and join the team in time. So we'll see. what that is there. Stick with Bobby and CLNS Media for updates from shoot around if they have one tomorrow. Probably not in the morning on a travel day. So we probably won't know much until closer to tip off, but we'll have you covered. Bobby will be at the game. We'll be back here for post game. Sherrod Blakely will be with us again tomorrow. So we'll have a full house as the Celtics look to get back on track.
The TNT game tomorrow, right?
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Love a good TNT game.
Me too. Me too.
I got a basketball. I got my own basketball game tomorrow.
Huh?
I got my own basketball game tomorrow. I'm gonna miss the beginning of tomorrow's Celtics game. I've got my own game.
Oh, dusting off the kicks, huh, Jimmy? There you go.
People say, "Oh, why you? You talk about the game. You don't know how to play it." Oh, I play the game. I play the game tomorrow. Yeah, I play the game.
Attaboy.
Get the headband ready, Jimmy. There you go.
That's right. So yeah,
love it.
I got my own damn game.
All right, folks. That's gonna wrap it. We will see you guys tomorrow night.